Hey, welcome to 1000 Details, and today we are going back to a kind of video that I've missed doing, and I think it's much more appealing than doing gear reviews videos because you have tons of them. And even if you do cool music or interesting music on the gear reviews, you don't learn as much as for gear lust. So I was talking with my friend Ganjak, aka Brian, about this kind of stuff, and after exchanging ideas, I have to say that he basically opened my mind to do what I've been doing forever, which is jam videos and explain my patches and give cool ideas for people who might need new ideas, or the people who are learning on this techno journey or music production journey. So a big shout out to Genjak. Check his channel. I'll put a card up there or up there, whatever it is. And let's start with this. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to explain to you a track that I made, and it's a track which is more into techno, pad, string, chord sounds, as you're hearing now, and it has a vocal as well. And the cool thing about this is that it's like a fusion of techno, house, and I don't know, it feels groovy, which is my idea about this track. And I'm going to explain to you how we can do this and how you can basically do the same. You don't need my gear here. You can do this with a DAW, with a Ableton Live, Bitwig, a synth, a VST synth, a drum machine, a drum sampler, whatever you want to use, you can do this as well. So let's start with the setup, and then I'll explain to you piece by piece how did I achieve this. So for the synth line, we have here the Hydro synth, which is doing the pad kind of thing. Oxy 1 sequencing the Hydro synth. And then we have here the Digitact, which is being used for the percussions and the bass lines. So I'm going to start by the main motive here, which is the synth. So the idea here was to do something which is similar to the Jupiter 4, Jupiter 8, which you can see here in this image, which is a very old and nowadays expensive synth from Roland. And to do this, I set up the oscillators in a very specific way. So the first one is a square wave, which have what they call a mutant, which is modulations to the VCO. So in here we have a pulse width modulation kind of thing. And here we have a wave stack, which basically stacks waves. It's something very specific to the ASM, but you don't need this to make it sound similar or in that same mood. Oscillator 2 is set on wave scan. It is this way because at first I was thinking about using a wave scan, but in the end I haven't used it at all. So basically it's just, as you can see here, it's just a saw wave. So a square and a saw, and another saw on the oscillator 3. Then you have also PWM modulation on the saw, and the wave stack again here. And this is the pure basics of everything. It's those three voices here that they are doing this kind of sound. And about the modulation that you're hearing here, it's basically the chorus working, the delay working, the PWM modulation working, and well, the sub here is more as an EQ thing that is bringing on a bottom to this. And if you ask me about sound design, you don't need to go very crazy with this. You just need to sometimes find the right ingredients. And with very simple stuff, if you look at the Jupiter 8 or Jupiter 4, they're quite simple in their approach. It is more how you tune things and take your time to tune things, which is what I did on the Hydro synth. And back here, the two important things is first, configure your ADSR envelope for the VCA. So as you can see here, I have a little bit of attack. The decay is short, sustain is medium, and the release, well, I'm gonna play with it, but right now I will consider it short. And I have here two filters which are working in parallel. So filter 2, it's more for me to shape the sound of it. So as you can see here, again, it's shaving off quite a lot of the low end part of it. And I will say that filter 1 is my main filter, so and this is basically it. And I think I also added, yeah, and the other thing that I added that is giving this sound quite some character is this lo-fi effects here. That you have plenty of VSTs to also do this, or pedals, that can emulate the lo-fi feeling, like grainy, downsampling and beat reducing nature of a sound. And that's about it. And this is the part that counts here. I've done here my sequence, which is a 32-step sequence on a minor scale, and I basically ended up playing this and also using a little bit of randomness to achieve something different. And so as you can see here, you have some tied notes, which they play longer, so they will have longer release times, sorry here. And that's about it. And now to the most important part, which is the drums, which will give the groove, right? So I'm gonna mute the synth for now, and I'm gonna go here. But before that, I just want to say, first of all, that thank you for watching. And if you enjoyed the content I'm doing, and if you wish to support me, please check my link below to my sample shop, which is 1000details.com, where I'll post regularly some sample packs, drum kits, loops, presets for some synths. So if you really wish to support me, you can do it over there. And of course, like and subscribe this video, which will help the channel grow and which will help me keep on doing those videos. So now back to where it matters. Drums, right? Nothing as simple as a kick. And this is nothing else than a simple 909 kick. I think this one might be from my 909 pack. I don't remember quite well. But the specific thing here about this kick is that I've added a little bit of delay and reverb, which is doing those like sounds after the kick, right? And then something that I really enjoy about the Digitact 2, because now I have more channels compared to Digitact 1, is I can layer a bass line and a subline. So first off, I have here my bass line. Well, I have my filter at the middle, and I have a little bit of modulation, so it opens the filter a little bit more. And the other thing that helps a little bit is a longer attack here, so it doesn't clash with the kick, and my decay is quite prolonged here, and I want it this way. And I did apply some little bit of beat reduction here to be it more gnarly, gritty, and I have a lot of delay here. And I wanted this to be a little bit more roundish, have more like body, like a little bit of foundation, so I added this one. Which, if you hear, it's more like a group of toms doing their own thing. And again here, what is making this sound this way, it's the shaping of the filter. So it's quite cut off. And the same principle, a little bit of attack so it doesn't clash with the kick. And beat reduction and delay, chorus, and a lot of reverb to give it a little bit more body and a wider sound. So this is like some toms playing with the bass. Here we go. Now, onto the percussions. First thing, for the way that I'm using the Digitact nowadays, and it does save me a lot of time, and I do like to use this method, where it be loops that I did, where it is stuff that you scavenge around the web or packs, whatever it is, it's valid. So I have here on 5 and 6 percussion loops, okay? So this is the first one. Nothing that crazy. A few kind of percussion sounds like hats and snares going on. But the thing here that is giving a lot of groove to this sound is I have my filter a little bit not fully open, right? I have it around here, which will sound different. Just hear it. Here it's constant, right? Here it's like a kind of ducking, like it opens and closes, opens and closes. And this is the envelope over here working. And this gives this it adds like a balance, I don't know, a pendulum thing here. And of course this is drenched in effects. Beat reduction, sample rate reduction, overdrive, a tiny bit of delay, not much, reverb and chorus here. And then of course you can play with the tune, which will make the loop sound the way it is. Now on to the second loop. Same thing here. And here, what is doing the groove overall, it's the nature of the loop for sure, but the fact that I have a ton of delay here. It's full of delay, so it's doing this rhythmic, extra rhythmic pattern thing here. And again, some reverb, a lot of sample rate reduction, because for this kind of techno that I'm doing, adding sample rate reduction will add artifacts to the sound, and those artifacts translate into cool textures, add some grittiness, adds imperfections to the sound, and this is something really cool that I like to explore. So I add a lot of sample rate reduction to my sounds. So here it is, tune it to where I like it, filter fully open, I will play with the filter around here, and that's it. Here, nothing special. Again, what I have here next is 909 open hi-hats. They have a little bit of reverb, just that. Then I have here some 16 hats. I just filter a little bit for feeding up the sounds. They're very short. And in terms of effects, there's sample rate reduction, there's beat reduction to make them more noisy, and a little bit of delay to give an extra rhythmic pattern to this thing. Rides, nothing crazy about the rides. And then what I have here, which for me adds up to the main motive, which is the synth, it's a vocal, typical house vocal, and like something that I really enjoy. I do a lot of techno, that's for sure, but I grew up with techno and house, and at least I consider that I've lived and was able to experience the golden age of techno and house, and perhaps more house than techno at some point. So it is not strange to me that I come up with this housey stuff with my music, which I really like. So yeah, as you can hear, this sound does give it an extra appeal. Nothing really crazy on the filter. The amp is also nothing really crazy. But in terms of effects, I've added a lot of reverb, a lot of chorus, and there's a lot of delay over here. And at the same time, I'm modulating with an LFO the delay to increase the amount of delay that I'm sending. When you add this, you get what you're hearing. Now, two things that I did that give it an extra groove in my opinion. So first one, on my synth, I have no swing, like it's zero swing. But on my percussion and bass line, I have 59% swing on all of this, which gives it this kind of, I don't know, I identify it as house-ish groove with techno. So that's it. I have two different swings working here, and that does give it an extra groove and pacing to the track. Also, another thing here, which is that I did not mention, it's this LFO2. I think it's LFO2 or 1. LFO1. So LFO1 is set to a very slow rate, and it does adjust the volumes here. And it's playing to open and close the filter. There's a tiny bit of envelope to open the filter, but most of it's the LFO. See, it opens and closes. Okay, it's drenched in delay, in chorus, in the lo-fi thing, sure, but the LFO is also playing a very important role. So that's it. That's basically it. I did this video to explain this patch because I was doing tracks. I tried to do a track a day, and I've posted a little portion of the jam into my Instagram, and people were really like, whoa, this sounds very cool. And I thought, well, for once, I still have it on my machines, so I can replicate it, because I normally don't save much stuff. I'm now starting to save more patches, at least in the synths. So I said, why not explain this? Maybe people will be interested. And this is how you'll make some kind of techno, house, good melodic techno, not the melodic techno that people associate with. And I like it. So there it is. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you on the next one. And I'm gonna close this with a little bit of how I will start this sound, this track, and then leave it on. See you next time. Bye bye.